me and the student came up from under the desk. I think I was like
drenched
totally,
in sweat.
yeah, I was shaken for sure. And I asked the student, what do you want to do? And she said, textbook. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Gengo Lingo mini lesson. Today's topic is earthquake! Earthquakes! So exciting topic.
Is it exciting?
Well,
Scary.
Yes. I mean, this topic popped up recently because there was an earthquake in Japan, down south in the Kyushu area.
Mm-hmm.
So it got us thinking about earthquakes again.
And I mean, we had a Megaquake advisory that just got lifted. Did it get lifted?
I think that's what the news said.
Okay.
Yep. So I'd never heard that before. Had you heard of this kind of advisory before?
No.
Yeah.
I think it's the first time that they put any kind of advisory into place.
Yeah. Well, they chose kind of scary language.
Yeah,
Megaquake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely perked my ears up and made me take notice about, haha, okay.
Be prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah, so earthquakes are common in Japan, right? Yeah. We sit on 4 tectonic plates, I believe.
Yep.
So there's always shifting and things like that. And I think Tokyo probably sits on some kind of intersection of 1 or 2 or 3 or even 4 of the
I think the intersection
plates.
kind of is around the Kanto area, a little bit south as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great.
So, yes, a lot of quakes, tremblers, lots of shaking.
Right. So, like in Canada, you grew up in Toronto.
Yep.
Or Ontario.
Yep.
Did you experience earthquakes as a kid?
No.
Okay.
I didn't feel a single earthquake in Canada. Toronto is in the middle of the country, kind of to the east, and Canada is really solid.
Okay.
Especially the middle area. They call it the Canadian Shield. So
wow.
Yeah, right? It sounds cool.
That does sound cool.
But that basically means is that it's very stable.
Okay.
The east side is more stable than the west side.
Okay.
So you probably know, like, California often has quakes, and so will the east side of Canada. It's part of the ring of fire that goes around the Pacific.
Right.
Personally, I didn't experience any earthquakes while living in Canada.
I see.
Yeah.
I think in Hawaii as well, when I was growing up there, if my recollection is correct, we maybe had like 1 or 2 earthquakes that actually translated into like tsunami warnings for us.
Yeah, okay.
School was canceled and it was like a 1-foot tsunami. So all of us were like, yay!
Okay.
At the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Hawaii kind of, I believe, sits on 1 plate. So even if we do have an earthquake, it's not so much of like this kind of movement, but more of like a swaying movement, which is why the tsunami, it triggers a tsunami. Obviously, we're on an island.
Yeah.
But Japan is like a whole different story.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
There was the big one.
Big one.
Yeah, that we experienced. That actually... Tokyo wasn't the epicenter.
But
it sure felt like it at the time.
Right. Yeah. You're talking about the earthquake in March 2011.
Yes.
Yeah. That was I think both of our first experience of a large earthquake. Even though, as you said, the epicenter was up north in the Tohoku area.
Yeah.
Yes. Scary. Very scary for me.
Very scary. Yeah. You were in Ikebukuro.
I was,
in like a high-rise building.
Yeah, I was teaching English on the 10th floor near Ikebukuro Station.
Were we on the 10th floor at the time?
Yeah,
Not
the time.
Not the 20th?
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Luckily, we were the office was on the 10th floor, not the 20th at the time.
I see.
Yes, being on the 10th floor during that earthquake was terrifying.
Yeah. Can you kind of... if you don't mind, can you share that story with us?
Yeah, what can I say? So I remember at first the earthquake felt like this.
Okay.
So it felt like the office building was bumping up and down. And we knew immediately this was going to be a big earthquake.
Okay.
After a little bit of bumping up and down, then the building started swaying.
Mm-hmm.
And at a certain point, I thought, most earthquakes I've experienced have stopped by this point.
Oh,
but
okay.
it kept going and it kept getting stronger and stronger.
Yeah. And at this point, you're teaching with a student?
Yes.
Okay.
Kind of gripping the desk, looking around.
Yeah.
My student was a very low-level student at the time.
Yeah.
So we couldn't really communicate well on, what we should do.
Okay.
But,
did you get under the desk?
Yeah.
You did?
At one point, we kind of made eye contact. We're like, should we? Yeah. Okay. So let's get under the desk.
Yeah.
And I remember the building was swaying, and the office chairs were on wheels.
Right.
So the building was kind of moving under the office chairs.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That was one point that I remember. And also, I remember feeling the building, I was like, the building shouldn't be tilted this far.
Okay.
I imagined that a building tilting that far might, topple over.
Mm.
But in hindsight, now I see how great the
infrastructure,
the engineering is of these buildings.
Yeah.
They move a lot, but they were very strong buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's on the 10th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it give you chills just thinking about it?
Yes, I remember. There was one funny point too.
What?
I remember after the earthquake had died down.
Yeah.
Me and the student came up from under the desk.
Uh-huh.
I think I was
drenched
totally
in sweat.
Yeah, I was shaken for sure. And I asked the student, "What do you want to do?" She said, "Textbook." So she, I guess, was less phased than I was.
No,
she was
probably
ready to
not, right?
keep studying.
I feel like in those kinds of situations, you kind of just resort to what you know.
Okay.
So
yes.
Maybe she was just like...
Yes, maybe she didn't know, I want to go home, yeah. I want to cancel the lesson.
Yeah.
Yes. Instead she said, textbook?
So you're still teaching?
I did, yeah. I taught the end of that lesson. And then my next student came as well. And at that point, the manager said...
like... No
okay,
lesson.
we're wrapping up for the day.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was fine. Yeah.
At the time, I mean, we were working in different areas.
Yes. Yeah.
I was a new manager at a small learning studio.
Yeah, quite a far away from where we lived.
In the same company, but at the time, I was having a meeting, a one-on-one meeting with the student side manager. I was the instructor side. And we were downstairs from our learning studio in the same building in Starbucks.
Grabbing a latte.
Yeah. And Starbucks, I don't know if it's all Starbucks, but they have these lamps, these fancy lamps that, hang down on a long cord.
Yeah, yeah.
So...
perfect for earthquakes.
Oh my gosh, It was terrifying because because we were on the second floor, I don't think we really felt the building do that.
Yeah, right.
But the office that I was working at is next to a massive highway. So anytime a truck would pass, it would shake the building anyway.
Right, yeah.
So at first we were like, oh.
What is that?
Yeah, and then I'm like, we start looking at the lamps above us and they start swinging. And I'm like, and I don't, Starbucks in Japan, we were sitting at a counter and the counters are like this narrow,
of course,
right? This wide, I should say. So there's not much protection you can get from going under the counter.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Right.
So I remember I should have done earthquake training, but I hadn't at the time.
Yeah.
I didn't know how serious to take it. So I was kind of caught off guard. I just grabbed my stuff and I was like, my manager's name was Jun. And I was like, Jun, we got to get out of here. So we ran down the stairs and I had all my stuff because I had a purse and a binder. And I turned around and I remember just running out of the Starbucks and then stopping in my tracks because one, I felt like I couldn't take a step further because the ground was shaking.
Oh, wow, okay.
But also I looked up at the buildings around me and everything was just like, it was like a movie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
It was just like, the cinematic scene where like
you could visibly see the buildings.
Yeah, moving and
swaying.
Like I thought they were gonna hit each other.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I turn around and I look at Jun and I'm like, we have to get upstairs. Like we got to get the instructors out.
Yeah,
this
take
is
care of the students and the instructors.
Exactly, the students and the instructors. And I look at him, and all he's got his Starbucks latte in his hand.
Okay.
And he left everything else upstairs.
Huh.
So, like, his phone and, like, everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, he looks at me, and he's like, I don't have anything. And we're like, okay, well, what do we do? Like, the ground is still shaking, and I didn't want to go back into the Starbucks. And I didn't want to go into the subway entrance either.
Right, okay.
So we just kind of like backed up. He held my hand and he like pushed me back up against like this like secure wall.
Okay, yeah.
And we just kind of waited it out.
Oh, okay.
But I remember like...
Is that protocol, you think?
I don't think so. I think... No.
All right. People who have been studying earthquake response and emergency drills tell Maui what to do next time.
Probably would have said, no, that's not correct.
Yeah, right. I feel like being outside a building is dangerous.
Right.
Falling glass, falling debris.
Definitely.
Can get you.
But I panicked, right? I was kind of like rooted to the spot until he grabbed my hand and tried to pull me somewhere.
Have you ever felt something like that before?
No.
Yeah. It was me. It was a unique experience.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, oh, this is it. This is the big Tokyo earthquake.
Yeah.
Because at the time, like, there was no TV in Starbucks.
Right.
We still had flip phones, not smartphones.
No
So I didn't have news coming in. And we didn't realize that the epicenter was north.
Yeah, it wasn't Tokyo at all. Yeah.
Until actually quite a bit later.
Yes.
And then it was like it hit like the devastation and like everything that people up there were going through, not just the earthquake, like, and then
nothing compared to what we went through.
Exactly, nothing at all. And then the tsunami that hit afterwards, right?
Yeah.
So well, one good point is one of our students at the time who was upstairs. So we finally made it up the stairs through the stairwell. We got in. And everyone's kind of like panicked and freaking out. And there's one student, he was from Kobe. So when he was younger, he went through the Kobe earthquake. Yeah. What was that, 95 maybe?
I don't know the years, but in the I think early 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? So he was like, I know what to do. So he led us down the stairs and he led us to like a safe area. And while we were walking to that safe area, which is actually the shrine, the evacuation area was the shrine, we passed by like kind of like a bar and on TV, like they had TVs going. And we were all just like, whoa. Yeah. This is not Tokyo at all. Yeah. So from that shrine area is when I was trying to call you and we couldn't get through to each other.
Yeah, that's the problem. You know, when everybody has a smartphone, but during an emergency, the system is over capacity. It's clogged. Yeah. So communication was really difficult. Yeah.
Well, we've got, it got lifted, but the Megaquake.
Yeah, I think we should always be vigilant, though. Yes. Did I say vigilant? Vigilant?
Vigilant, yeah.
Okay. Making up words. Yes.
Yeah.
Be vigilant. Get your go bags ready.
And we do drills.
Yeah,
right?
Now we do drills.
We do monthly drills with our daughters, and they're actually quite good at it.
Yeah, that we had a little bit of a
tremor the
other day. Yep, and the kids knew exactly what to do.
Yeah, our phone started blaring, right? And then I quickly said, like, get under the table, and they were there.
Yep.
Right away, and they're like, Daddy, open the door.
Daddy opened the door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So very good. I think it's good to just routinely drill things like that now that I know. Yeah.
Yeah. I think maybe if I didn't experience the earthquake in 2011, maybe I wouldn't take it as seriously as I do now.
Yeah.
So please take our words for it, and everybody else that's experienced earthquakes here. Yeah. Get ready. Be ready. Stay safe.
in the comments, right? If you have any resources that you can point people towards for like earthquake safety or earthquake, what is it called? Preparation.
Yeah.
Please feel free to share that with us, regardless of whether you're in Japan or not. It's always good to share good information.
Yes.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend. See you next time. Bye.
こんにちは。今日のビデオは地震の話をしました。で、なぜ地震の話したかっていうと、ちょっと何日か前に、ちょっとちっちゃい地震っていうか、九州の方に地震があったので、それがちょっとこっちにも来て、携帯のアラームも鳴っていたので、ちょっとそういうね、今、東京もMegaquakeのadvisory は、注意報か警報なんですけれども、が、あって、もうそれはもうリフト。もう、解除っていうんですか？解除されたんですけれども、そういうことがあって、このトピックを選びました。で、advisory なんですけれども、advisory は名詞で、その警報かその注意報が解除されると、英語では lifted。だから、lift。上げるっていう感じで言います。The advisory has been lifted っていう感じで使うんですけれども、で、あとはフレーズとして、みんな、私は地震を経験しましたっていう時に、何を言えばいいかって、何のフレーズを使えばいいかわからないって言われるんですが、経験したと同じ感じで、英語でも I experienced an earthquake。とか、I went through an earthquake っていう感じでも使えます。でも、地震が来たっていう時に、よく、日本語で間違えられるのが、attack, an earthquake attacked Japan とか、a tsunami attacked Japan とか、a typhoon attacked Japan って皆さんちょっと言ってしまうんですけれども、attack っていうのは、その、アタックするものがちゃんと考えて、その意思を持ってやるので、そういう自然なものはアタックはできないです。例えば、クマにアタックされた。The bear attacked me とは言えるんですけれども、津波とか earthquake とか台風はアタックはしません。攻撃っていう感じで皆さん使うと思うんですけれども、英語だと hit。叩くの hit ですね。だから、an earthquake hit 東北。とか、an earthquake hit 九州。the tsunami hit 東北とか、あとは台風ですね。A typhoon is approaching Japan and it will hit Tokyo later tonight っていう感じで使えます。津波、台風ですね。はい。で、epicenter なんですけれども、epicenter は震源地ですね。その地震の元、一番強い元が epicenter っていう感じで、私たちも結構会話の中で何回も使ったんですけれども、よかったら会話の中でもチェックしてみてください。で、地震の時の使う単語っていうか、そのどういう地震、どういう動きがしていたっていう時に、いろんな使い方があるんですけれども、tremor って、何回かジェフも私も言ったと思うんですけれども、tremor っていうのは shake。シェイクと同じなんですが、名詞です。で、there was a tremor って言ったら、ちょっとした地震っていう感じで使っています。だから、もちろん地震は地震なんですけれども、tremor、地震は earthquake なんですけれども、tremor って言ったら、ちょっとなんかグレードダウン、レベルダウンのことを言っています。で、あとは動詞なんですが、shaking。shaking って言ったらこんな感じですよね。ダダダダダダダ。で、swaying は、こうやって、ビルが、マンションとか、高層ビルが、高いビルですね。が、swaying って使います。で、あと、ジェフが、bumping up and down って言ったんですけど、それはなんかもう本当にこんな感じで、上下、上下に動くことで、で、最後に、結構使ったのが tilting。tilting っていうのは、傾いてるっていうのが tilting で使います。だから結構その地震のお話をするときに役立つ単語、 動詞だと思います。で、あと2つ似ているんですけれども、ジェフが die down, after the earthquake, died down か after the shaking died down って言ったら落ち着いた時にっていう話をします。だから地震だけではないんですけれども、台風の風が die down したら、台風の風が落ち着いたらっていう感じでも使えますし、で、あともう一個は同じ感じなシチュエーションで使うんですけれども、wait it out。wait it out って言ったら、人の行動アクションなんですけれども、I waited it out。私は、自分が地震を経験したときには、ビルのところまで背中をつけて、I waited it out って言ったら、止まるまで待っていた。だから、よく雨とかでも使いますね。we're going to wait out the rain って言ったら、雨が止まるまでちょっと待っているっていう感じで使えますので、よかったら使ってみてください。はい。ね、大きい地震が来るとやっぱり本当に怖いので、でもね、皆さんも準備をして、心の準備とあとね、何をしないといけないかっていう準備もして、みんなで安全に過ごしましょう。はい。Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Bye!